Tá procurando uma forma de comprar diamantes mais baratos? Usa a Smile One. Não esquece de dar like nesse vídeo e de se inscrever e, é claro, me seguir em todas as redes sociais. Todos os links estão na descrição.
Vamos lá, galera. Vamos ver um videozinho desse NACT aqui, ó. Isso aqui é MPL norte-americana, mano. Eu nem sei porque que não não sei porque que não é MPL North America, mas tudo bem, né? É o time do MOBAZANE contra Cloud9, mano. Acho que a primeira vez que eu escutei falar da Cloud9, acho que foi no LoL, mano. Lá em 2010, sei lá, 2012, 14, sei lá, mano. E agora eles têm uma line no Bangas, mano. Que doideira, né? E o time do MOBAZANE. O Field Chicken aqui, o MOBAZANE, o Ron. Caralho, o Ron, mano, ele é o mid laner, né? Que doideira, mano. Moleque, esse draft aqui tá potente, hein, mano? Tá maluco? Khalid, Gatotti, Ruby. O Ron usando Zushin. Não vi ninguém usando Zushin mais. MOBAZANE de Bane, é bem a cara dele mesmo. Baniram o Bruno na primeira rotação de bans, mano. Que doideira. Grok, Bruno, Chip, Fanny, Ling e Hylos.
Though this is a play by NACT. We got to see it a lot yesterday and in the regular season. He pulls out the CC. He's able to pretty much out-rotate the Khalid and outshine. But this time he's going to be going up against Chicken. I think it's going to be...
Esse cara tem uma oratória boa, tá? Tá maluco. Bem, esses caras aqui eu não conheço ninguém.
Number 4, will this end in the hands of C9? Will BTK take us to game 5?
Man, it kind of feels like we're watching a repeat of week 2 when both of these teams fought it out in this same exact situation. BTK down 1-2.
O outro lado tá bem papel, né, velho?
To try and even out the series or will be dropped down.
E ainda tem
into the lower bracket. Will BTK be able to pull this off or will we see Cloud9 move on forward as the first grand finalist?
Isso aqui tá bugado, né? Claramente. Ah, tá.
Yeah, a lot of damage. He bursted pretty low. He almost fell right there.
So, I mean, at this point, Hoon is going to be on the Jushin. I'm wondering, like I said before, I'm wondering how he's going to play it. Is he going to play it as good as Mark Cutie played it? Is this Aurora maybe a good answer to it? You do have some nice poke and nice range with the Aurora, and adding the freeze on that, the Jushin can't just kind of freely sit there, right? Jushin has to maybe move back when Aurora's bringing down those icicles, because if Aurora just tries to continue the kite, you get frozen, you get some damage to your face, and what we just saw almost happens.
Mas a gente pro Bane seria foda, seria maneiro. O Bane não é muito popular, não.
Just pretty much not allowing BTK to really push in. Here goes the turtle play that we were looking for. Looks like best player is going to be able to secure it, and we know that BTK with the early game composition, they're the ones who needs to take this.
Yeah, I mean, it's an early game, but also, like, just having Bane, I think, again, man, the Bane is going to have some trouble here. It's not going to jungle as fast as best player on this Julian. It's not going to move around the map.
O MOBAZANE só usa heroes sem mecânica, só. Ele só... O único boneco mais mecânico que ele usa é o Sushin. Ele usa só Saber, Granger, Bane, Alpha. Só isso. É muito fácil counterar ele, velho.
Having the Matilda, having all of having the Claude, having the CC, Cloud9 can kind of be anywhere they want a little bit before BTK, and that's going to be the answer that BTK has to bring.
Yeah, and Cloud9 off to a good start taking this.
Ele tá começando de machado de guerra.
Have to see how BTK responds, right? If they're not going to be able to get these turtles, even with this early game composition, they need to get to the side lanes. They need to find a possible trade-off.
Yeah, so let's see if they can pull it off. Taking a look at some of the items. Zane not too far behind. Zia did just get in the War Axe, so a little bit more damage over to Zia. Zia, I think, if they can get him involved into these fights a little bit earlier, if they can get the full 5-man, then it is good. But Zia in a little bit of trouble.
Ooh, 3-man rotation, circling Eagle, the flyby, and best player.
First Blood no Zia.
One to deal the finishing blow. Zia will fall.
This is what I mean by the movement, and now even more damage onto MOBAZANE. He should be able to get away from this, but it's going to be a little bit of gold plating over the side of Cloud9, and BTK always going to be a little bit slow to the party.
Ooh, speaking of slow to the party, Marcuti almost fell right there. It does have Cool World to keep him alive, to be able to take down these minions, but was almost a costly play. I think they're going to go in for it. No, he is going to go ahead and recall back Shark, though. He doesn't look like he wants to let him go for free.
He's waiting. He's like, come on, recall, bro. We'll see what happens. We'll roll the dice a little bit. Shark now finally getting into the face of best player, though. Hoon finally getting kind of into the groove of zoning them back, and this should be a turtle over to BTK, so holding themselves in the game.
Ooh, the rotation's a little slow by best player right there, circling Eagle.
Oh!
You're going to see Sandstorm connect, both sides fighting it out. Best player, though, will find
Moleque,
Blake Duet goes down, best player taken down.
essa fight
Shark,
deu
two
ruim
members
pra
falling. That's a double kill for best
pra
player.
BTK.
Hoon may be next. Forces to go back to the base. Chicken left to defend. We'll be able to clear out these minions in the mid lane.
And BTK, when they get the
Moleque tem
turtle,
3 kills na mão do Julian,
they
mano.
push a little bit too far on that, maybe trying to be aggressive, trying to take a camp, and it bites them forward. Cloud9 now still with a nice lead, nothing too crazy, but in control.
Yeah, I mean, they're inching their way up in these objectives, which is going to help them, especially as we get closer to that 10-minute mark. And BTK, they did a good job, though. They were able to out-rotate best player.
É, mano, sei lá. A Zushin, véi. Moleque, o dano dela na 2 tá muito baixo, mano. Olha isso, ela é puro controle agora, mano. Tipo, ela não dá dano. Nossa, mas aí a Matilda foi muito moleque agora.
Need that one right there, and Cold World, he was just caught out of position. He couldn't even move. The chain CC too much to handle. Zia going up against Nat.
Véi, os caras pegaram o Ruby pra lanear contra o Cloud ali. Eu não tô vendo pressão nenhuma no Cloud, velho.
Yeah, Cloud9 make the swap, and I think Nats will have a decent time against the Ruby. Nats is gonna have a good time.
O Bane tem late game, né? Mas o potencial de teamfight daqui é muito alto, né, mano? 2 dano em área forte. Tem o Julian, que ele é um carry. O Julian, né? Eu acredito que o Best aqui, né, vai buildar full ataque. Só a Cici aí pra mim, que eu não entendi muito bem o papel dela. Ela tá aí no time e é isso aí, né? Acho que é isso, né, mano? Ela fica incomodando, ela dá umas pokeadas. Beleza, o Julian pegou a Turtle. Nossa, viraram bem nele. É, deram pick-off, né? Agora tem que sair. Foi a Turtle pelo...
From both sides there. The Frigid Glacier, first of all, was beautifully placed by Marcuti. MOBAZANE tries to move out, but to get in range for the red shirt, he ends up getting frozen by it. Luckily, BTK does still get that kill on the best player, which is huge and kind of evening out that trade. And BTK still hanging out. And as long as they keep this gold and not too far of at a deficit, they're still very much in this game.
Ooh, there goes the Raging Sandstorm. The Desert Tornado forces out the circling Eagle. Wraps all the way around town on the Hoon. Still in the fight, though. Clocks that Lantern. Both sides find it out. Enhanced chains connects. Fried Chicken forces a quicksand. MOBAZANE will take a turret on the bot side. Best player able to get a kill. Chicken finds Nats. 1 for 1.
Nossa, bela ultimate da Ruby, velho.
Zia, very low. Needs to get back to safety, but best player has the enhanced sight.
Nossa, moleque, essas Zushin, sei lá, mano. O Khalid não tá gold, não. O Cloud inverteu e a Ruby e ele não quiseram inverter. Ele tava XP.
Yeah, but BTK, I mean, they have to keep putting on this pressure, right? They need to keep this game under control because the late game damage is going to be a threat, especially with Basic. They have yet to find a kill on him so far, and he already has the DHS.
Apesar que, mano, O farm do MOBAZANE tá bom, cara. 6.600, ele tá com 6k de farm. Sendo que o Julian tá totalmente dominante nessa partida, velho. O farm tá empatado, na verdade. Caralho, como?
Cala a boca e pega o
Thiago
dinheiro.
Tavares mandou.
And this may be the time. Chicken forced to use that Raging Sandstorm back to safety. And that will be that turret falling as Chicken is going to go ahead and recall back to the base. That is going to be both sides able to claim some real estate on this map as the Lord spawns in.
Look at, all right, so we see Fried Chicken this time go to the long lane, trying to control it, trying to push it back. This will help him have a little bit of an advantage over the Lord. But Basic also playing the top side. Both teams making sure side lanes are controlled. Deadly Catch comes out, a lot of resources burnt up from both teams.
Yeah, you did see that Frostly Breeze come out over there by Marcuti. Doing a great job on this Aurora. Even though he's not stacked up in the kills, the crowd control aspect that he brings to these fights is huge for Cloud9.
Nossa, o Julian tá 5/1, mano.
Ready to do the dance in the Lord pit, but neither side going to find the opportunity they were looking for, so they'll disengage.
And I want to keep our eyes on this bot lane. It is the slow build up. I do think BTK's wave ends up winning out and getting the slow push up. And that is going to be important as this fight. If this fight really drags on the long haul, eventually Cloud9 has to send someone back. So I don't know if they want to try to rush this. If they want
Cara, eu tô vendo a Aurora infinitamente mais relevante na partida, né? Nossa, a play da Ruby, mano. Moleque, aquela girada do Khalid ali doeu, hein? Nossa, que bagunça essa fight, mano. Morreu só a Cici. Caralho, os caras estão no Khalid pra matar o... Para matar o Ron, mano, de... Zushin. Que isso, mano. Levaram até 3, mano. Que isso, velho.
Yeah, that was a close call, but they get so much profit off of that. And finally the gold really scales into Cloud9's advantage.
Nossa, Cloud9 ganhou com uma play, mano.
Not to mention the inhibitor, not to mention the map control, plus a Lord on top of that. In the end, Cloud9's dancing composition of this back and forth wins.
Caralho, Ruby, mano. Pô, tá muito fraca, né, velho? Tem dano nenhum. Parece que são 3 paredes, só que a Zushin não dá dano, velho. A Zushin não dá dano, mano. O MOBAZANE ainda fez peito bruto, mano. Ô, caramba. É isso mesmo. E o MOBAZANE ainda fez peito bruto, mano. Aí não vai dar dano mesmo. Olha o Júlia com 9.200 de farm. Zushin não dá dano nenhum, mano.
Yeah, Basic now going to be able to get that core trinity we were looking for, so he's going to be hitting very hard. There goes the Wind of Nature to top it off, especially against the heavy physical damage that BTK has. Now looking at this Lord marching through the mid lane. They may go in for a potential game ender. They only have to go through 2 inhibitors and the base crystal, but BTK, full 5-man left to defend.
All right, so they will be able to maybe shred this down, but Cloud9 at any point could make the strike. BTK has to play it careful. I don't think they should try to engage in anything. They need to hang out, let Cloud9 come to them, because if White Chicken goes too deep, if Shark goes too deep, the damage that Cloud9 has right now is enough to change things up. But look at the play.
Nossa, essa Matilda saiu viva como, velho? Tá, o Julian morreu. Moleque, Cloud tá imenso, olha isso. Cloud acabou com o jogo, mano. Mano, não tem como. Moleque, não tem como a BTK ter perdido essa fight aqui, velho. Moleque, olha isso, mano. A Matilda não morreu, velho. E a Ruby ainda consegue fazer uma play aqui. Nascice, né? Moleque, olha o dano do Cloud agora, mano. O Cloud e a Aurora. Nossa, mano.
Left to pick up the pieces. The 4-man rotation from Cloud9 through the mid lane. Trex, I think they're looking to close it out. I think they're looking for a finish. Circling Eagle onto Zane. Forcing out the deadliest catch, but Zane very low. NACT take him down. All is left is Hoon to defend against Basic. Marcuti and Cole.
Levaram tudo, mano.
Will fall on the top side. I think they're gonna go in though. Hoon.
Moleque, mano, definitivamente a Zushin foi o pior pique possível. Mano, é nessa partida que eu vi por que a Zushin não é mais nem banida nem escolhida no competitivo. Nem na ranqueada, pra mim, a Zushin tá prestando, mano. Em raros casos, velho. Cara, ela não dá dano nenhum, ela não tá dando nem controle direito, mano. Eu acho que eu entendi, na verdade, até o porquê desse time ser tão papel. Não tem nenhum corpo a corpo. Nenhum corpo a corpo. Nem a Cici é corpo a corpo nesse caso. Porque a 1 dela é uma skill de range, né? Tem um range ok ali. Então a Zushin não consegue pegar ninguém, mano. Tipo, não tem ninguém pra Zushin pegar nesse time, velho. Moleque, esse pick aqui foi horrível, mano.
And even though they're under the tower, the big frigid glacier comes down, and Cloud9 just seems to be getting the better of them in these fights. Taking a look at the items, Zane does finally get in the Malefic Roar. I'm guessing last item might just end up being a BOD? Maybe just go for the full damage, make sure that crab cannon can actually take some people out. On the side of Basic, though, he just finished out his last item, Malefic Roar locked in, and here goes a big fight.
Moleque, a BTK, ela dá uns pick-off bom, tá ligado? Mas o time não tem dano, velho. Pô, esse pick-off aí na Aurora, mano, com Lord Open, foi excelente. O problema é esse aqui, né, ó. Duas lanes com pressão. Não volta nunca, mano. Não volta nunca, mano.
Why Chicken holding down the bot lane, the long lane, just trying to relieve some pressure so that BTK can maybe make the move.
Yeah, trying to buy some time, now forced to take this fight in the Lord Pit with Marcuti not there. BTK does have the numbers, but it's not going to stop Cloud9 from engaging. Circling Eagle from CORO back to safety. Chicken immobilized. There goes the Lantern over there by Hoon. Trying to zone them out.
Porra, moleque! Que combo absurdo da BTK, hein, mano. Pior que, olha lá, eles vão perder o jogo sem nem usar o Lord Spa, né? Mano, isso aqui foi lindo, tá? Caralho, moleque, olha esse Khalid, mano. Ele flechou, pegou todo mundo. Só o gatote aqui que ficou, né? Ué. Mas, mano, que combo foda do Khalid com a Ruby, mano. Aí, ó o Cloud, mano, fazendo a festa, ó. Ó. Caralho, mano. Demais, velho.
I just want to say I've been waiting for a game like this. The past 3, let's be honest, it's just been stomps. It's just been snoozers. But now we finally got a little bit of a back and forth. Cloud9 wins a fight. BTK wins a fight and it is down the line.
Foda que o único que dá dano à torre é o Bane. E ele morreu, velho. Nossa, o Lorde, esse Lorde aí, fi.
For Cloud9, they had the chance to close this out, but BTK quickly finding the pieces and putting them together, and now has an advantage to even out this series.
Yeah, let's take a look at this replay, man. BTK did so well at zoning out in that final big flicker sandstorm paired up with the I'm offended. Basic tries to do something. He tries to lock onto Hoon, but the Lantern flare is just too much. Hoon finally finding his groove here. I mean, he's literally, him and Fried Chicken are just zoning Cloud9 at bay, letting MOBAZANE have free reign over the Lord Pit. And now, opposite inhibitors are broken down. Opposite side lanes are going to be having more powerful minions in closing.
Mano, o MOBAZANE me lembra, sabe quem? O Wise, mano. Me lembra o Wise. Ele é extremamente limitado, mano.
gonna see which side.
Tipo, os caras têm uma estratégia só, basicamente, né? A antiga Blacklist. Aí, pra mim, mano, o MOBAZANE é igual. Tipo, os caras só tem uma estratégia, mano. A pool dele é extremamente limitada. Você acha que a RQ consegue passar do wildcard? É passar pra viajar pra casa, né? Eles conseguem, mano. Moleque, se é RQ, mano. Mano, se é RQ. Eu nem sei como é que é o wildcard. Passar da primeira fase, mano, ela já tem que comemorar. A não ser que o wildcard seja Latam. Se o wildcard for Latam, a RQ tem uma chance. Mas eu acho que não. Eu acho que esse wildcard envolve os times da Ásia também, então pode esquecer. A RQ vai ser amassada por todo mundo, mano.
Come at this in an angle. They also need to look for a pickoff, which is kind of going to be tough. Or Marcuti has to bring down the perfect frigid glacier. Other than that, it's just got to be a macro game. Because I don't think Cloud9's going to have a lot of trouble taking the big 5v5 here. And here goes one at the top.
Véi, a Zushin tem um clear wave péssimo, mano. A Zushin é um puro suporte de controle, velho. Olha lá, já morreu. O Shark não gasta essa passiva dele, velho. É, nesse time aí não tem nem como a Zushin dar controle. A composição contra lá tá muito anti-Zushin.
They should have played for Lord Pick control. They should have played for control on the boss side. But try to make the big play happen and pay for it. Hoon is bursted down. Cloud9 with the big burst potential. Best player just gets in the winner crown. And this is going to make him be able to hang around even longer on this Lord push.
Basics are going to pick up the immortality as well. So they're getting some insurance policies out before this storm hits. Sounds kind of familiar for us Floridians. As you are going to go ahead and see the Lord make its way down the mid lane. The push from Cloud9 to try and close out the series with the NACT prediction 3-1. BTK holding up that shield. Cloud9 with the dagger looking to pierce through. Deadliest catch goes out from MOBAZANE, the Lord.
É, defender o Lorde, mano.
Minions will fall as well. Cloud9 has to make a decision here. Do they continue to engage? There goes the I'm offended for the setup, forcing out the winner crown. There goes the circling eagle as well. The stun onto NACT. BTK still standing strong. Cloud9
top side.
disengage from the base and BTK able to hold that shield.
Mas é a primeira vez que o Brasil não vai jogar o Mundial? Vai.
And they are doing it well. The crab claw cannon is just chunking people down. The amount of just peel that BTK has, or stiff arm, whatever you want to call it, the ability to stop Cloud9 from jumping in completely, just holding.
É, agora tá todo mundo full build, moleque. O MOBAZANE tá com 16k de farm. O cara joga ranqueada, mano. Esse cara tá jogando ranqueada, ele não tá jogando a NST. O cara farma infinito, mano.
On the side of White Chicken, he just locked in the winner crown. He's got the blade of Hepades. He's going to be putting out a little bit more damage to kind of hybrid this out. Went almost fully defensive, but kind of drops the cherry there with a little bit of damage at the end. And that could be the thing that really helps BTK out in some of these fights. And then Hoon as well, man. The Lantern Flare has just been so helpful in these sieges and defending against Cloud9. Just like what Cloud9 did to
Caralho, a Matilda, ela tá full ataque, né? Cara, que isso, mano. Não tem nem defesa nesse time, até a Cici, mano. A Cici tá com... Tá híbrido. Tá híbrido. Tem 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gelinhos no jogo.
Just like what Cloud9 did to BTK last time, where you weren't able to jump in because of it, BTK is doing the same thing.
Well, it is now or never for BTK, their most important game of this entire NACT fall season.
NACT.
Even out the series up against Cloud9. Cloud9, they're one victory away from securing a seat as a grand finalist. You can definitely tell a lot is on the line and the anticipation is climbing. Everybody going wild, but this can only end one way with one team being victorious. But the question is, who will that be?
Oh, Basic hanging out down on the boss side. He's got to control this wave. They have to control this bottom wave because it is going to be one that seems to be pressuring onto Cloud9. But honestly, if Cloud9 can control it, they can go for some cheeky plays here. They have Basic on the Claude. They have him on the signature backdoor hero in his pocket. You pair that up with the Matilda who can get him back to safety at any moment. It is definitely scary. BTK knows this. They want to try to rush this Lord.
This is our longest game yet. In the battle for the Lord on the way, already down to 50% HP bot side. You are looking at Basic on a split push. Do they know he's there? There goes a recall.
Yeah, they gotta go back.
Yeah, they have to defend this.
Ah lá, tem que dar recal, mano. Não vai dar, MOBAZANE. Não tem como. Ó, os caras vão fazer o quê? Mano, se vê que alguém voltou base, vai todo mundo fechar aqui a BTK. Moleque, não dá, mano. Pra você perder com isso aqui, ó, tem que querer muito perder. Tem que querer muito perder, mano. Com essa pressão de lane. Tá vendo? Voltou alguém pra defender. Ficou aqui pra splitar, caso não volte ninguém. Tá ligado? E agora que voltou, é só vir aqui e fechar todo mundo, lutar em vantagem numérica, mano. Moleque, é muita... Moleque, tem que dar... Ou você tem que dar muita sorte... Ó, já mataram o Ron. Ou você tem que dar muita sorte, mano. Ou você tem que querer muito perder, velho. Mano, e o Cloud brilhou, né? O Cloud tá com 12 assistências, 4/0. Jogou muito, mano. Cara, tanto de gelinho, o IT é absurdamente meta, né? Tem que ser um over absurdo, mano. Ainda, ó, tomou farpa dos malucos ainda, ó. Tomou farpa. Tomou... Olha o cara que deu chat no MOBAZANE, mano. Tomou chat do Nerdola, moleque. Ai, 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 mano. Todo mundo full build, velho. Que doideira, mano. Ó, essa já tinha vendido o gelinho, né? Pegou imortal. A galera não faz mais imortal e gelinho. Elas fazem o contrário. Elas primeiro fazem gelinho, depois vende o gelinho e build imortal, né? Normalmente agora. Loucura, mano.